Hey guys, Koopakins here. Today I'm wearing my work wig. So first and foremost, this is going to be a video about my thoughts about Final Fantasy XV, and there are going to be some spoilers, so if you care, I'm throwing that out there right now. If you do care and you want me to put out a video that's vaguer and like spoiler free, just let me know in the comments and I can totally do that. So, I don't know how many of you have played Final Fantasy. Let me know, because let me know what you think compared to what I think, because I would love to have an actual discussion about this. But man, I was really not hyped in the beginning of the year. I don't know how many of you followed my transition from February to November when the game came out. But I was really not hyped for it until about September when PAX happened, and I wasn't super hyped, but I was just I think it's gonna be okay. It was okay. I think that I'm definitely glad that I bought it. I'm definitely glad that I got to experience it. It's 100% a step up from 13 and 13-2. I didn't even play Lightning's Revenge, so I have no comment on that. Or Return, or whatever the fuck it was. But, the first 8 chapters, you are in the same world, and you can travel freely among that world. There's no real, string pulling you through, if that makes sense. You can just do whatever the fuck you want, which I think is great to an extent. And then they kind of go on the flip side of it, and at chapter 9, it's just, or around chapter 9, starting more so with chapter 10, it's just straight story that you can't get away from. So a lot of times you can't even save. Last night I played through chapters 10, 11, 12, and I started 13 in less than 2 hours. And I wasn't able to save, so my PlayStation is still on out there. And from what I understand, it's only got 14 chapters. So the length is a little bit upsetting, but we'll put that aside and we'll talk about that later. The structure of the game, where you think that it's going to be open world, having the first 9 chapters or 8 chapters or whatever, having the first half of the game essentially to be super open world, and you can save anywhere for the most part, and you can just explore everywhere. I thought that we were going to go to different biomes. I thought that we were going to have the ability to sort of save, and I knew it wasn't going to be super open world, but it's sort of just carting you around. You're on a train and you're just being carted around, and you're oh, this is a cool ice zone. You want to go explore this ice zone and fight ice beasts and stuff? Yeah, well fuck you, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna fight some enemies on the bridge here, and then you're gonna get back in the train and we're gonna take you away. When I was streaming it, somebody mentioned summons and how their favorite summons are back. I don't really even feel like they should be called summons. I don't feel like you even have summons in this game. I don't see it. Granted, I'm only chapter 13 to 14. I don't know what the post-game is like. I've heard the post-game's really good, so it's totally possible that the post-game is great. However, where I currently am, God, it's just and don't get me wrong, I like the game. I like it. Like I said, I'm glad that I bought it. But just, wow, I mean, the first, I want to say 5 chapters, I was yeah, this game is so rad. And then I got to chapter 8 and I was just cool, so we've been in the same place, there's no new biomes. The things that I love about Final Fantasy, 10 is a great example to me. You experience so many different biomes, so many different beasts, so many, and it's appropriately broken up between travel and story and battles, and you don't feel okay, now I'm only gonna do story. Okay, now I'm gonna, be able to run around and fight things, I feel Final Fantasy XV, there's just too much, seeking out battles. There's so many side quests. There are so many side quests. I have about, I want to say 36 hours, maybe 40 hours in the game in my leisure playthrough, and over half of that side quests for sure. I think that if I was only doing story, level permitting, I could have beaten the game in one day, which for me, Final Fantasy usually has a pretty extensive story, so I'm pretty upset that they have so much other stuff. I think that they were thinking that the quests, the side quests and the hunts and stuff would make up for the fact that the story is really minimal, and in some places just downright confusing. Based on what I've heard, I haven't super looked into this, but based on what I've heard, I was really confused about the story. Where I am in chapter 13, like, I feel like a lot of story is missing. Like, in chapter 12, Gladiolus just starts getting fucking mad at Noctis for no reason, and it's like, okay, bro, like, I get that you're mad at Noctis because you think that he should be doing certain things a certain way or whatever, like, that's what I'm guessing, because they never talk about why he's mad. He's just suddenly like, oh, I'm gonna be a shithead to you, even though your fucking girlfriend just died and your dad died less than a month ago, like, you're kind of having a shitty time right now, and I'm gonna tell you to stop fucking moping and get off your sad sack of shit ass and go and fucking be a king. And it's like, cool, so you were my favorite character until you started being an asshole for no fucking reason, because from where I'm standing, like, he's like mad because Ignis lost his eyesight, and it's like, yeah, Ignis is blind now, but like, that's, you're literally saying Ignis is blind, and that's more important than the fact that you lost the two most important people in your life. Like, they're not comparable. Being blind for Ignis, absolutely life-changing, totally horrible. 100% agree with him on that. But like, losing your girlfriend who you thought you were gonna be married to since you were like 10, and losing your dad in the same year alone. Fucking traumatic. So Gladiolus needs to fucking calm down. There was no reason for him to be mad, and they didn't explain it. And there's just like a lot of little examples of things like that, where something just happens and you're expected to know why, you know? Like, they'll just throw in there, yeah, like, 3 of the 6 gods have been slain, and you're like, wait a minute, I only remember fighting 2. What happened with the 3rd one? Did we fight that? Did somebody else do it? Like, I don't... So, I just... had this game not been out, or had this game not been in the works for 10 years, I would be giving it a lot more slack. Like, it's a great game, it's totally fun, I'm just not gonna replay it ever. I'm not gonna replay it. It's not gonna happen. And I think that that's really the true telling factor if it's a good game or not. Like a super solid quality game that's gonna stand the test of time. And it's not, because, you know, like Persona 3 and 4, Skyrim, even Fallout sometimes, I will like replay those games about every year. Like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy 12. You know, like obviously I don't play every single one of those games every year, but like good RPGs, I will replay, like, because I get that RPG itch, and like, I just don't feel it with this game. Like, I really, really like it in some instances, but it's majorly flawed, and I feel like you can really tell that there was something going on with the designers or the developers or the storyboarders or all of them, where they were just like, fuck this, we're gonna scrap the whole thing. Or like their budget got cut and they stopped, they were like, we're just gonna cut this chapter, it'll be fine. I kind of wish that they had just delayed the game again. Like, I know that people like hate it when that happens, but I wish they delayed the game again. I wish that it came out a year from now and they put in those chapters that you were missing, or however long it fucking takes. Because I think that the story could be really cool. I think that the story was really intriguing. I was interested in the characters, but it just didn't do it for me because the execution was poor. And my final critique is, I don't like that you can't change up your party, number one. You can't like switch people out or add people to your party pretty much. Like, you get guest characters, but Final Fantasy, you almost always have like, oh, now so-and-so's in your party pretty much forever, and you get to choose like who you want to fight with. And that was a huge thing that was also different that I was sort of missing. And on that same note, why the fuck do we not get any females to fight with? Like, this game is so lacking in females. Like, the three females in the story are Aranea, who's hot as fuck, and I'm super down to have her in my party whenever she wants to be. Lady Lunafreya, also super hot, and the whole game I thought that she was gonna join our party and be the summoner, and we were gonna go on a fucking pilgrimage like in fucking Final Fantasy X to fight beasts, demon shit all day and save the world, which would have been great. I would have been so into that. Even though it's sort of a rehash. Like, I don't even care. Just fucking give me a hot lady that I can fight with and look at sometimes. And then there's Cindy, and I don't even want to talk about Cindy because I don't want to talk about Cindy. Okay, I know I said, and one more thing, like, I have another thing. Also the character design in terms of like the outfits. The outfit design, like, I feel like Final Fantasy is super fun for me also because I get to see all these really cool outfits, even in 13. I would say even in 13, like, there were a lot of really cool character design elements. Like, I liked the outfitting, I liked the way people were dressed, And this Final Fantasy, it was sort of like, hey, here's the real world with monsters, magic, and like magitech soldiers. It didn't really feel like it was a Final Fantasy world. It just sort of felt like it was like an anime world, you know? Like there was, and it wasn't even like, it was anime turned down to a 2, you know what I mean? It was like just barely anime. Like it wasn't super extravagant or weird. Like Lulu has a dress made of belts, you know? Like I would really like to see weird shit like that, and I didn't get that. There wasn't a lot of diversity in terms of the outfits or the character design elements for me personally. So that's how I feel about it. I know that this is kind of a long video about it, but I'd really like to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys played Final Fantasy 15, even if it was just like a demo version of it, let me know what you think. I really want to know how it's being received by everybody else, because, you know, I really, really want to like it, you know? I want to like it so bad. Like, there are so many great elements of the game, but I just feel like so much was also poorly executed that it just becomes mediocre for me in the end, you know? Man, you know what I mean? So yeah, as always, stay awesome. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll get some blue hairs under here soon. And you guys can check that out, so that'll be fun. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.